Hey friends, how are you today? Welcome, welcome. It's Wednesday, and that means it is Rose Alchemy TV. I'm Sara Rose, your host, and I love having these meaningful, soul-led conversations with high-achieving women and business besties from all over the world. Today, my guest is Sara. She's coming from Sweden. I've invited her on, so we're waiting for her to come. Technology sometimes takes a minute to catch up. But if you're watching this in the meantime live, give me a hashtag live. And if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. If you are new to me, give me a hashtag newbie. Let me know where in the world you're from. I've got friends from all over the world, and I love knowing who's tuning in. And also let me know kind of where you are in your journey of your business. If you're just thinking of starting a business and you're dipping a toe in and you don't really kind of know the next steps, give me a 1. And if you already have a side hustle that you're rocking it, it's going well, give me a 2. And if you're looking to convert that side hustle into a full-on entrepreneurial business, or you already have a full entrepreneurial business that you work full-time, give me a 3. And Sarah's here. She says, how do I add on? I've invited you to come, Sara, so if you can accept the invitation, that's good, or you can also request to join. Gotta love technology, right? Here we are communicating across the world. It's amazing. And Sara is a lawyer, and she also creates digital courses. I'm gonna have her tell you a little bit more about who she is and what she does. But we've been on a very similar journey over the last year, even though our professions, our industries are very different. And I love talking to her and keeping in touch with her about what she's doing on her journey and sharing what I'm doing on mine. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is finding your purpose, finding your passion, and making sure that you're on the right path, and kind of how that journey never is exactly linear, right? It can have its curves and its winding, right? Here she is. And let's bring her. Hello, hello. There she
Hi.
is.
We solved it, we did it.
Yay. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, Sara?
Oh, good too. It's cold today, but not as cold as where you are. Ooh.
Yeah, well, it seems to be really cold all over the world, but almost, right?
I think so. It's a good time to be home.
Yeah, it is. With the fireplace, perhaps. I saw you had that too in your new house.
Yes, wood burning. We're excited. In fact, I found a whole, but you can't buy wood here right now. It's sold out because it's, I guess everybody, just nobody has it. My husband's been driving around for 2 days trying to find it.
Oh, no.
Outside this morning, our neighbor had cut back their trees, and there's a whole pile of freshly cut wood out there. So I'm in there drawing this morning looking like a crazy lady, I'm sure. The neighbors are like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
I think we have a solution, so it's good. Thank you, universe.
Good. Yeah.
Yes, well, welcome. I'm so happy to have you on Rose TV, along with our other guest here today, Gatsby.
Oh, too cute. Hi. Oh, lovely.
But yeah, let's dive on in. And our viewers, our audience, are going to be women who are either looking to start a business or scale a business and up-level their success. And I'm going to talk today about finding your purpose, because sometimes you can get lost along the way. You can get turned around. You feel like, I don't know, somehow we have to overcomplicate things. And so let's start by telling us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and how you got on this path.
Yeah, oh, thank you. Well, yeah, it all started like so many entrepreneurs, I think, or are thinking about starting up a business, is just that kind of feeling inside that tells you it's time for a change. Now, the reason that you want that change, that can vary, of course, from person to person, but that inner longing for something else, and that was the same thing here, happened to me. I had worked as a lawyer for 12 years, employed. I worked at big law firms, I worked at court, various places. But just suddenly, having 2 kids and combining it all, I was just kind of, reaching a point in my life where I felt, okay, enough is enough. I need to choose me. I want something else in my life. I want time freedom to be able to decide what to do during the day, what clients to work on, and kind of, if I get an idea, I can like do that, set that into motion. That is kind of a freedom feeling as well. So that's why I started my own business, my own law business. And that was wonderful. And then again, if you are a business owner out there, you might know once you got that all up and running, and then it's like, okay, I need to develop it. I can't just sit here, right? You need to build, you need to come up with new things, and that is a lot of work as well. So I feel like just the last year, actually, as many business owners, I think as well, due to COVID, but for me, it was coming from a place of I had already developed my business into a digital one, a digital law business, but I wanted to create more digital offers, like digital courses and new ways to help my clients. Also reaching more people without kind of only exchanging time for money, but being able to help them in a new way. So it's been really a full circle. That ended up in the midst of that process. I was like, oh my God, I have so many friends and colleagues and people out there who would need this knowledge as well that I've learned over this past year. So I set up a digital lawyer academy, helping other female lawyers who wants to do and come on to this journey, learning how to set up a digital law business, learning how to create kind of a digital course, another offer in their law business.
I love it. And you're so smart because, yeah, I mean, if as a lawyer, you're always going to have security. People will always need lawyers. But there are professions that are not so stable or secure right now. And if people aren't looking into the future or even into the present to say, what are some other streams of income that I could be adding right now? What should I be learning? How can I build an online business? I think it's really the only way forward for most people who don't have a law or doctor background. So but when it comes to automation, were you scared to learn some new things? Were you excited? Were you like, I'm going to figure this out one way or the other? Did you lean in and enjoy having fun learning these things? Or were you just like kind of dragging, kicking and screaming because this is that was me when I started learning the online. I was like terrified of technology. I thought I could break the internet, and every platform that I joined, I was going to break it.
So funny.
And it was screaming, but I'm like, I know I have to learn this stuff. And then as I started to learn it and connect all the dots and see it all unfolding and coming together, and that there is this whole creative aspect of it, that you can have fun and be in flow, and like you can't wait to get into your office that morning to like, what am I going to create today? That was the journey for me. How did it unfold for you?
Well, it was just a mix of all of those things that you said. So first of all, I just had this urge, like, yes, I do want to set up digital courses for my law clients. But then I was like, I had that plan for like a year, and basically nothing happened because I did not know kind of how to put it in motions. All that things you say, I was terrified regarding tech, and just even things like what platforms are out there, or do I have to build something for myself super expensive? So then it was like, for me, it all came kind of as a solution when I started on a mentorship program, where I just got kind of the knowledge that I needed, and then I knew how to kickstart. So even tech then became kind of fun. Now I'm like, maybe I should whip up a little sales funnels this afternoon. Like, that is kind of crazy for me. But it was also scary, like, because I had never heard, maybe there are, of course, the world is so big, but at least in my people I'm surrounded with, when it comes to lawyers, I've never heard of a kind of lawyer, business owner who had created kind of a lead system a funnel where kind of I can wake up now in the morning, open my computer, and I say, oh, so I have 3 sales calls today. So because that has, through my automation, being booked without me doing the ping pong, can I not, or reaching out or things like that. So it did work, but I was really scared about going out on a limb, doing something new.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that automation just opens up so much space and time freedom, like you said, the backwards and forwards of, does this time work for you, or but this time, and then there's time zones, and it's just so much easier to just say, here, just click the link and let's go. It's still very personal, because you are ultimately going to be having that human interaction. So it's not like we're replacing that part of the business. It's just making life so much easier and giving us,
and for the client as well, they don't have to wait until I come back. They don't have to wait for me to see that kind of email or request. They can choose a time that suits them, and so they feel it's kind of very good solution as well. And that is just one of those things, kind of the booking of a sales call, right? There are so many other automations that you can have.
Yes, and connecting the dots to me was one of the most fun part, seeing it all holding and coming together. And like you said, now, with this move, it's been, I did a post about this yesterday, it's just been such a distraction. Your life is in boxes, and you're back and forth, and where is this and where is that, and you put even like your drink down, for a second, and you find it, and then the keys are like, are they in the fridge? Where is anything? And so it just kind of threw me off course, and it took me a good 2 weeks to really just sit in silence and meditate on, like, what are my next steps. I kind of locked away for a minute, and you need that headspace. I feel like, especially as business women, when we have children, when we have homes to run, when we have, we're wives or partners or daughters or sisters or friends, and we have all these different hats that we wear. And then when we add business onto that, and maybe even multiple businesses like you and I both have, it can all just get kind of like overwhelming and turned around. And that's where I was. And I finally just had to sit in silence and think and go, okay, what are my next steps? And that looks like a funnel for each of my businesses, new funnels. Let's see what else. I'm just opening a Facebook group for illustrious fempreneurs who want to come in and collaborate. And I started writing my book. For years I've been author. I just don't have time. But then I thought, well, if I could write for 30 minutes every single day, it unfolds, and it's going to be in its own time. There's no rush for it. But my question is, when you feel stuck or turned around, or kind of like, what are my next steps going to be? Like, how do you kind of pull yourself out of that rut? Like, how do you find the way to move forward?
Well, first of all, I have learned to give myself grace, to be kind to myself. Because previously I was all good at, being the good girl, having to be ambitious all the time, disciplined. And when something didn't work, I'm like, oh, you're so bad, Sara. And that did not bring on any creativity. That did not bring out any new ideas or feeling of, development and things like that. So I've learned to, whenever I feel in that space, because I do, like, actually regularly.
Yes.
But now I notice, I'm like, no, now I'm in that place. So even though you then think, oh, I need to dig in deeper now, dig in my heels, and really, that's when you really need to do the opposite.
Yes.
Just, no, I'm taking the day off because I'm stuck.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if I sit there because I won't move forward. I need to take the day off, and then I do something that lights me up. And that can vary depending on mood and weather, basically. But often for me, it's being outside in some sort, in some form. And when I'm doing that and kind of de-stressing, letting my mind run free, I always find creativity. So I usually bring like a notebook or something so that I can, write down the things that pop up. Yeah. Not like, no, I need to find ideas, so no pressure on it. But if they do, I can catch them, kind of. Yeah. So that is what I do, because you do end up in those moments, but just kind of be aware of that.
Yes.
And do something to,
once you recognize it and see it as a pattern, because I'm the same way. It's not just this move.
Yeah.
It's on a regular basis. I question myself. Like, okay, could I be doing this better? Could I be doing more? Should I be doing this differently? You know, I'm always kind of like reaching for the next level.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're right. You just have to like recognize that as a pattern. Give yourself the space and the grace to say it's okay to check out for a little bit and go do something fun, so that business doesn't become a burden. You know, we are not businesses. Our businesses are a separate entity from us. You know, while we do embody the work, we have to have this give and take with the business. If you're all on all the time in this hustle, slay, grind, and repeat, like never ending, it's going to lead to burnout, and then you're going to resent the idea and the business, and you're not going to have that creative space, and you're going to want to back off from it, and that's when it's self-sabotage starts, and it's this downward spiral, right? Can anybody ever relate? Because you know, I don't think Sarah and I are the only ones who have experienced this, and frequently.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, so give us a yay in the comments.
Give us a hands up if that's you too. And then my other question is, when it comes to business strategy, you can have all the strategy in the world. You can know how to build out a funnel. You can know how to put together a digital course. You can do all the things that we've been talking about here. But if your mindset's not right, if your mind and your heart and your soul isn't all in, again, the burnout can come, and it can come pretty quickly. So what are your thoughts on, like, what does mindset look like to you? Because I think that's a term that's thrown around a lot in our spaces. But I think everybody kind of has a different definition of what that means to them. So how does that look to you?
Yeah, so that is something that I have learned the past year as well, because previously I wasn't very preoccupied with that. Kind of that term wasn't even in my vocabulary. So, but now I feel it is super important. I have kind of raised my game, my mood, my mojo, like everything, by thinking positive. So positive approach, that is kind of my mantra. And that is a constant work. That is not something you do once and then it's kind of done, check. No, it's like daily. But I've also noticed now doing this for kind of a year, I feel also now my automated kind of subconscious answers to things that pop up in a positive way. Because previously I needed much more to kind of make a decision like, no, okay, that was negative and going down that spiral. So how can I move forward in a positive way? What is positive about this? And forcing myself to think positive. Now that is done kind of more, like I said, automated for me, because I've programmed my brain like that now. And that is super important. That also means that when setback comes or a big challenge, because they do regularly, whether it's in personal life or business, I now tackle it so much better because it doesn't affect me as hard or on a deeper level, because I have taught my brain kind of to look forward in a positive way, and that makes such a big difference, I think.
I totally agree, and it's so funny you say that, because I used to take everything so personally. If something happened, it was like, why me? This victim mentality, and it would just days to pull out of it, and it was just so personal. And now it's like, okay, what's the lesson in this? How can we just like deal with it and move on and check that off the list and go? And you know, I think before I came into this space, I used to just be so positive all the time, and everything's good, everything's happy, 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 happy. And through this COVID era that we're in, and before, when we were in a dark time, we had a financial crisis a few years ago. You know, you look at things differently and you go, okay, this is reality. There are bad things that happen. Not everything is happy, happy all the time and positive all the time. So you also have to be, you know, and I never liked the word realistic. I was always like, Pollyanna, you know, clouds and rainbows and unicorns all the time. But that's not reality. and people are struggling right now. You know, we all have our ups and downs.
Yeah.
That's life and that's business. And so we got to acknowledge those feelings and those emotions, and then just try to reach for the better ones as quickly as we can. So if you're feeling angry or pissed off at the world or whatever, like, how can you turn that into frustration? Because that's a better feeling frustrated. And then how can you turn the frustration into fascination? And then you can look and reframe the whole situation of what's going on differently and say, okay, where is the lesson here? What am I learning? What is good on it? How can I transform this into something better? Or how can I use this experience to help my clients and bridge the gap from where they are and where they're going, and say, like, you don't have to make this mistake because I already did it for you.
Right. For sure. And it's all about also, I think, like what I've learned to think about what I have, not what I do not have.
Yes.
What I can do instead of what I cannot do.
Yes.
And that kind of makes a shift as well.
Gratitude for all the resources and the resourcefulness that we have. I think we're all much more resourceful than we know. And when I hear women say, oh, I don't have the money to start that business, or I don't have the money to invest with that mentor. Well, I didn't have it either. We were in the darkest days. And, you know, I figured it out. I did what I had to do because I knew there was no way forward. A traditional 9 to 5 wasn't going to cut it for us. I had to find something that would be uncapped, that would allow multiple streams of income. So if something fell flat over here, this one would pick up for that, and vice versa. And, you know, I sold stuff around the house. I had to borrow money. I dove in really deep with my network marketing business and raised the bar with that. And the money that I had coming in from that, I took and invested in mentors to learn.
That's amazing.
You know, the online space, and figure out what are the next steps that we can, you know, have this amazing business and then teach other women how to do the same. But I think there's a level of commitment to business too when you're getting started or you're taking things to the next level of, you know, I'm not in it to dip a toe in here. I'm not in it for the short game. I'm in it for the long haul, and I'm going to see this through no matter what, you know. And it may not be a linear journey. It probably won't be. It's going to come, you know, have its waves, and it might even come full circle. So when it comes to commitment, because you've had some ups and downs over the last year, finding exactly your way. And so what does that look like when you question that path, and then you look inside and you go, everything I ever needed has always been right here?
Yeah.
Because we were having
so
the other day, and it's very simple.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did for sure. And that is kind of what I've learned, also part of my personality. Like when I dig into something, feel passionate about something, I get like all in, and I think like, yeah, this is it, and I'm like, get a tunnel vision here, and I kind of, that old news. I don't want that anymore. I'm done with that. No, I want this. So I, as I said, I dive in head first. But in that process and running, kind of what I realized, when things doesn't really work out or happen as quickly as you want, because I've had to realize, well, success or building a business or something else in your business, whatever it might be, success doesn't happen overnight. You're building something that's going to last, and which isn't kind of a quick fix. It's in it, like you said, for the long run. I'm here for the long run, so my business needs to be as well. It will take the time, and just trust that things, if I'm doing what I'm doing, trust that it will kind of turn out good for me. And also looking at, okay, what I already have that is working, because I got very passionate about my coaching business, and that is still a big part of what I'm developing and being creative in, loving that part. But just thinking, well, kind of treating my law firm a bit more like a, I don't know why we say this about stepmothers, but you know what I mean. They're lovely, but in a more of like just maintaining that business more, kind of that being my bread and butter. But then all of a sudden I was like, this is really ridiculous, because I do, all again, looking what do I already have? Would I love actually being a lawyer? I'm really proud of being a lawyer. And if there's something that I'm not happy with within that law business, well, then I can change that, because it's my business. So make that business into how I want it to be, instead of like shying away or turning my full attention on something else. Now I'm strict with my time management. Both businesses get the attention they need, and that has given me a different kind of peace and quiet also.
Yes.
That's yes,
like a good balance, which is for me, it was a really difficult time last spring when Sophie was being distance learning and homeschooling, and so she working with me as opposed to my husband, and he was happy to help, but he's more like, let's break down every question and go through each thing, and she was like breezing through it all, and wanted to be finished with her work faster so she could get on a virtual play date with a friend or whatever. And I'm like, just ask me if you have a question, because I'm over here working.
Yeah.
But even when she would stop me and ask me a question, and I'm in the flow of like taking a class or teaching a class or creating something, and I feel like time is running so short, and I've got to get this all done, and rush, and like I'm snapping at her and I'm snapping at my husband, and I feel it just like totally out of alignment and out of balance. And I just went, hang on, time out. This is not how things should be, because if I'm not having fun in my life or my business, this is like not good for anybody. And I just had to have a talk with myself and be like, you know what, you got to go with the flow, girl, because whatever it is, especially right now. We're all doing the best with what we've got, and for sure, just again, you have to give yourself that space and that patience to just go, all right, things are all going to come together. It might be a little bit of a rocky road right now, but I'm going to walk that path, and I know that when I need to be with my family, that's my time with them. And I know when I be working on my business, that's my time on my business. And when I need time for me, that's my time for me. And it may be a lesson in setting boundaries. It's easy for us as mothers, I don't think, but there was a lot of that within the journey as well. So I mean, I think it's all these things. You just have to go for it. In short, you gotta put yourself out there, baby bird, fly off the cliff. You'll learn as you go. Trust the process. Exactly. Yourself. Trust that you'll be supported by amazing other women who are on a similar journey with you. And reach out when you need that support. Sara and I, we stay in touch, and I love doing that and collaborating over competition. We are all so supportive more than we realize. So lean in and trust the process, and just give yourself a chance. Go for it, girls.
Yeah, exactly. You can do this. We can do so much more than we think. It is just our current beliefs that might be blocking us in some ways, but there's always a solution to that problem or blockage, I'd say.
Yes, and we can help you with that. So Sara, tell our viewers, our audience, where they can find you, how they can work with you, and
well, I'm, as I said, a digital startup coach for female lawyers, and I have got a Facebook group called Female Lawyers. Not more stranger than that. So if you are a female lawyer watching or know someone, give them a tip about that group. And within inside of that group, there are discussions I'm posting, and I have my free resources there if you want to dive into one of my masterclasses, or have a guide to a business plan or something like that. So dig into that Facebook group, and you will find various things in there.
Awesome.
So, and how about you, Sara?
Awesome. Yes. Well, I am working with women who are looking to start and scale a business with business strategy and mindset work. And there's some incredible things happening in my Rose Alchemy program going forward this year. So if you have any questions about business, getting started, or taking things to the next level, reach out to me anytime. My inbox is always open, and you can ask me anything. So Sara, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you to our audience.
Thank you.
Next week with another special guest, same time, same place on Rose Alchemy TV. Thanks, everybody. Bye, Sara.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye.
Bye.